In this week's edition of Parliament Report, House goes quiet after contentious week. Parliamentary committee seeks approval for more benefits for constituents, and health ministry officials defend user fee policy in health sector. There was no sitting of the House of Representatives last week after parliamentarians concluded an exhausting previous week fighting over the report of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee. They locked horns over the language and content of some aspect of the report, which examined the first supplementary estimates tabled by the Finance Minister 2 weeks ago. It took the intervention of Prime Minister Bruce Golding and Opposition Leader Portia Simpson-Miller late into the evening on Thursday, September 8, to resolve the matter. Government members of the PAAC wanted a sanitized report, while opposition members wanted the initial report, which was critical of government's growth targets. After the intervention by the two leaders, both reports were tabled, and it paved the way for the sitting of the Standing Finance Committee, which completed deliberations on the revised spending plan. The estimates were later approved. Members of the Parliamentary Committee, which examined expenditures and projects under the Constituency Development Fund, are to seek Cabinet's approval to expand the categories under which constituency projects can benefit from state financing. Committee member Derek Kellier on Tuesday raised the suggestion as some requests from constituents did not fall in any of the existing categories for approval. Kellier last month had several emancipation and independence-related projects rejected by the committee. He said the projects were drafted by parliamentarians based on consultation with implementing agencies and the CDF unit based in the Office of the Prime Minister, but were still rejected. Kellier, the Member of Parliament for St. James Southern, sought $2.4 million for emancipation and independence projects in his constituency, but came away empty-handed after the committee rejected them. Similar projects submitted by East Central St. Catherine Member of Parliament Natalie Nita Headley suffered a similar fate. According to Kellier, the CDF should consider listing these other areas that have to come to the committee and ask Cabinet to seek whether or not they can be added. CDF Chairman Everald Warmington said under the existing guidelines, Members of Parliament could submit projects related to the following topics: welfare, economic enablement, and emergency assistance. The often controversial Warmington expressed support for Kellier's proposal, suggesting that the CDF unit lead a review of all projects submitted to the committee in recent months to help identify the areas that Members of Parliament have an interest in. Executive Director of the CDF unit, Mavita Monroe, told the committee that her office was not against cultural projects, but made it clear that they must be done with a developmental focus. As criticism of the no user fee policy in the health service rocks the government, Ministry of Health officials provided data to substantiate its claims that the abolition of user fees in public health facilities has had a positive impact. According to the ministry, a survey across 5 major hospitals has shown moderate to significant increase in service provided since the no user fee policy was implemented in 2008. Director of Policy at the Health Ministry, Sandra Graham, says in 3 years since the policy was implemented, there is a 70% increase in pharmacy items dispensed when compared to the similar period before the policy was put in place. She said the survey also shows that admission to hospitals increased 5.4%, surgeries by 4%, and lab tests have climbed 82%. She said the survey has shown that Jamaicans have saved $8 billion that would have otherwise been paid in user fees. She made a disclosure at the sitting of the Select Committee on Human Resources and Social Development. And that brings this edition of Parliament Report to a close. Log on next week to stay up to date with the parliamentary happenings in Jamaica. I'm Erica Virtue, standing in for Edmund Campbell.